Good day. My name is Krantima Michelle Afram, a member of Aggrey Cyber Team, and I'm here with
Edwin J.
and we are presenting Aggrey Memorial in the 2025 edition of the National Cyber Champions Competition organized by Cyber Ghana. My team and I were tasked to generate threat scenarios that could affect EC's IT system and also create measures the EC ought to enforce before, during, and after elections. Here's everything we came up with. Let's begin with threat models. Ransomware. Now with ransomware, an attacker, after accessing or compromising the EC's database, introduces a software to encrypt the data, preventing the EC from accessing the actual results. Now, with ransomware, the attacker allows the EC to access it only if a fee or a ransom is being paid, hence the name ransomware. With this, it affects the integrity of the EC. The best way we could actually prevent this is to have a redundant system and even back up the data. If ransomware is not taken care of as a threat, it could actually slow down the whole election process. Next, we have malware. Now with malware, the attacker does not just target the database, but also leaves detrimental effects on the EC's IT system. The attacker's main aim here is to take absolute control of the EC's system and be able to steal and delete credentials of voters. Now, the best way we could prevent the adverse effects of malware is application and user access whitelisting, because malware is introduced into the IT system by apps, peripherals, media, and even links. This could pose a threat and even affect the integrity of the EC. Next, we have the nationwide electricity supply crisis, doomsday. Now with doomsday, it usually affects the IT system of the EC during the election. It affects the vote counting machine directly. We could even have an adverse effect of letting the data end up in wrong hands. The best way we could prevent doomsday from being a major threat during election is by having an uninterrupted power supply and even having standby generators available. Next is how we have data diddling. Now, patriotic members of party with inside admin privileges in the EC could alter the data to go in favor of their party. Usually, this targets the EC's biometric database to allow unauthorized voters to vote. There are even secondary scenarios where people are being paid or outsiders are being paid to do this. But the best way we could prevent data diddling as a threat is to have segregation of duties and also have real-time monitoring and periodic data integrity checks on EC personnel. Now, lastly, is denial of service or distributed denial of service, DDoS and DOS. Now with this, the attacker floods the system with too much data that it can handle, exhausting it and making it unavailable for authorized voters to vote at an appointed given time. Now this usually targets the EC's coalition results database, not just preventing authorized voters from voting, but also preventing certain EC personnel with access to the system from getting in. And the best way we could prevent DDoS and DOS as a threat is to utilize the use of private networks with their IPs to send and receive information in the EC, and also to send and receive information from the servers to the EC. Thank you.
Okay. Security measures before elections. 1. EC must provide training and awareness program. EC should provide security and awareness program for its staff to train them on the best security practices. EC should also simulate phishing and malicious attacks at the training. EC should also train its staff to help them identify incidents at the training. Secondly, EC must encrypt all sensitive data. Someone can get hands on EC's database and manipulate it. This means that EC should use strong encryption algorithms. This locks EC's database and makes it very difficult for someone to manipulate it. EC should use strong encryption algorithms such as the AES-256 encryption algorithm. Also, EC should conduct regular penetration testing and vulnerability assessments. This exercise must be carried out so that EC assesses or identifies all potential hazards and vulnerabilities that could affect EC system during the election. This can help them develop remediation plans and also mitigate them. EC should also look into updating their systems regularly so that they can patch up all vulnerabilities. Next, EC must distribute power generators across all EC offices. There might be blackouts during the election. EC must distribute these power generators so that EC can ensure that all his offices are having standby power generators during that blackout. Also, EC must establish a security operation center. These security operation centers must be equipped with detection and monitoring tools. These tools will be used to monitor, prevent, detect, and investigate, and also respond to cyber threats during the election.
So we move to security measures during the election. So the first thing I would like to talk about is that the Electoral Commission of Ghana should have a redundant system. This is where spare machines or backup machines are used so that when the main machine fails at the election, the availability of the system and servers used for the voting process would be ensured. Secondly, the EC should try utilizing a blockchain technology to verify registered voters, to transfer vote counts, and also to store data across a decentralized network of computers. Whereby in this decentralized network of computers, if an attacker gets into one of the Electoral Commission's systems and tries to change something, all the other computers across the country would have to access before it would be changed in the main center or the main server of the Electoral Commission. And this would also help because a decentralized network of computers uses a complex mathematical algorithm in order to send such data, thus making it difficult for an attacker to crack and get the information of the EC. Also, the standby generators that the Electoral Commission have to be prepared and activated just in case of a prolonged blackout. So, a prolonged blackout or maybe doom so for a very long time could happen, sometimes even ranging for 12 hours, maybe from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. In this, the Electoral Commission should have a blackout incident response plan and should also activate the plan and ensure that all standby generators are prepared and on, ready to be used. So, security measures after the election. These are the things the Electoral Commission should put in place right after the election has been taking place. So, the first thing the EC should do is that they should have a post-election investigation, whereby they would investigate everything that went on during the election, such as the threats they faced, the incidents that happened, the incident response plans, and then the problems and the ways they solve such problems. They should also investigate on the fraud and intrusion attempts and report any fraudulent activities that they found. After that, the EC should write a report and a review. That is the post-election review or report, whereby anything that they found or any activities that went on would be placed into logs and feeds, such that they can be used for reference for further or future elections. And they can also be used in training and awareness programs so that to teach the future employees of the EC ways that the past employees solved such problems. After that, they should also report cyber frauds after the elections. Maybe they uncovered a cyber fraud by a major political party or a person who is very patriotic to their political party. So all these fraudulent activities should be reported by the Electoral Commission of Ghana. Thank you.
Now, cybersecurity aims at reaching three main goals, which is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Looking at the five threats mentioned earlier, if our aim is to reach these three goals, we need to ensure clean cyber hygiene at every stage of the election. And there is a need to enforce every listed measure before, during, and after the election to ensure that we have a clean and safe election. Thank you, and have a safe election year.